I just wanted to come on here for today's video, and I actually have a clear topic in mind, not one that I just made up out of the blue like most of my topics. This topic is actually one that deals with some stuff that's going on in countries that aren't the US. I don't know the whole list of countries, but apparently it's up to 53 now. And if you're from one of those countries, you know what I'm talking about. Their governments are trying to ban the internet. Like, during the day, these countries will have random blackouts, and I know India and Ethiopia are some of these countries. I'm not sure on the other ones. I just saw a Flipboard on it. That's the only reason I know about it. If you don't know what Flipboard is, I'll pull up the application and show you what it is. Basically, this is what the Flipboard application looks like. It looks like a pair of stairs that are upside down. And it's basically just this news source, but I think more like, this news source for, oh, that's what that is. But like for, issues that pertain to all over the world, not just, oh, you see this, it's happening in the US. These issues pertain all over the world. Let's watch this. Also, I'm claiming fair use, so don't come after me.
There is no justification for a government to deliberately shut down the internet and cite national security. Ethiopia is the recent country to have shut down the internet. We've seen cases in Togo, Burundi, Mali, Iran, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India, among others. So far, we've seen over 50 shutdowns this year in 15 countries. And this is likely to increase because we are expecting more.
Okay, so what I can tell just from listening to this video so far is that these countries, their internet is being shut down for apparently civil protection or something like that. Even though there's nothing really going on. I mean, in some countries there are wars waging on, in some countries there are different things waging on, where potentially the enemy could get information from that country based off of the internet. But that doesn't seem to be what's going on here. Anyway, let's get back into it.
Elections this year, and protests are likely to erupt as well. Internet shutdowns.
Okay, so I think this lady is about to explain why the COVID cases could go, what's the word? I'm gonna have to look it up on tip of my tongue, and I'll see you guys in a second. Well, I found the word, it's exponentially, but, the reason these COVID cases could be exponentially high is having internet Well, it provides you with a way to talk to people. Like, I'm communicating with all of you without you knowing it. Via the internet, via YouTube. But this lady seems to have a different reason. She is saying that cutting off the internet is cutting off access to vital and life-saving information.
Life-saving information as well as emergency services. One key thing is that journalists, human rights defenders also are not able to cover stories because we've seen that during internet shutdowns, we normally also see recorded incidents of human rights violations, especially when the shutdowns are around elections and protests. If anything, internet shutdowns escalate situations and even make people more agitated to protest and to fight and demand for their rights.
Strategically use the internet. Apply online as they do offline.
It does pose new challenges. It requires
Organization and
authorities in the country.
Civil society
the access that
in Egypt or Myanmar.
You don't have to wait till you experience an internet shutdown before you start defending and protecting it.
Exactly, that's what I'm doing, girl.
Organizations that are able should support local organizations working to take their governments to court and to also join global initiatives like the Keep It On campaign.
Okay, so apparently there's this organization called the Keep It On campaign that you can donate to if you're financially able to, but me being 14, I'm not financially able to, so if y'all are, like, in the age range of 18 to whatever age and are willing and able to donate, please donate to the Keep It On campaign fund because this shit is serious. They are basically taking away their basic human rights to free speech, their rights to access the internet, their rights to basically not have to worry about watching TV, because a lot of times, I find on the internet, a lot of times, people who are denied access to the internet, like I think North Korea is denied access to the actual internet because their internet is controlled by Kim Jong-un. God. Like, oh my god. Did I get added back into that group? Hold on, I gotta leave it again. Okay, so this group chat is apparently different. But anyway, lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, people who are like living in North Korea who don't have access to normal internet because their internet is controlled by Kim Jong-un. Their media is controlled by Kim Jong-un. They end up getting misinformed about a lot of things. Like, hold on, let me really quickly mute this group chat and then I'll get back. Okay, it's muted. Well, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Their media is controlled, so they can't go online and look and okay, so this is the truth, right? Like, they can't see the truth. What you're denying people is the truth, which means these countries might have some skeletons in their closet that they don't want their general public to see, because typically when you have a country, right? You have a country like the US, you have a country like, I don't know if this is necessarily true because I'm not Canadian, but Canada. You have these big countries. You want your people living in that country to be proud of that country because of what your country stands for. Which, by the way, isn't racism by cops to any Americans that could be watching this, be proud of your country. They're not denying you basic human rights like these countries are. Like, if any US officials are watching this, you should probably take away the internet rights of the people who are complaining about being an American. That way, they can experience what it's like living in these countries with internet shutdowns. So to all of you Americans complaining, saying, oh, it sucks in America, up yours, because you don't live in these countries. You're privileged. Okay, now that we got the mandatory F the Democrats out of the way, basically, yeah, they're taking away their right to know what's actually going on in the world. Like, their right to know. Oh my god, where the hell am I gonna put that reference? I need you to go somewhere. Are you gonna be able to fit? Actually, hold on, let me really quickly just put this reference on top of everything. Yes, I have over 40 layers, shut up. On top of everything, and then I can move it, resize it, and put it over Ponyboy and Johnny. Okay. That's better. Well, anyway, now. They're basically taking away the basic human rights. Like, we have the right to know information here in the US. We have the right to know what's going on with our country. We have the right to know the truth. A lot of these countries are not getting their right to know the truth, not getting their right to know what's going on in their country, and that's sad. Like, when you can't even know what's going on in your own country because your government is trying to shut down your internet. At that point, that's when you can say fuck the government. At that point, that's when you can say the people who are doing this are bastards. At that point. We're not at that point. But we're sure as hell gonna be heading down that road very, very soon if y'all won't shut up about the stupid shit. The thing is, like that lady said, you can't be afraid to speak up about this. Because even though these are pretty big countries, I guess, they don't have power over you if you don't live in those countries. They don't have the power to deport you or shut you up because you can take those countries to court. There are people willing to take their own countries to court. So if those people are willing to do it, why should you, as someone who doesn't live in one of those countries, be afraid to speak up on this issue? Like, yeah, I get it, it's taboo, but these people are having their rights taken away, and you're just gonna sit back and let them suffer? You're just gonna sit back and take their basic human rights away? Because at this point, by not doing anything, you're doing it too. Just like what you said when George Floyd was killed. Your silence is saying something. It's a basic human right. And there are countries where your human rights are allowed to be violated by your own government. There are countries where this is actually happening, where it's the truth. There are countries where you wouldn't survive if you were gay. You wouldn't be allowed to live. You'd be told, because you were gay, that you were a menace to society, probably be forced to stay in prison, and maybe be killed for it. There are countries like that. And these countries aren't the US. Like, sure, there are some states in the US that say conversion therapy is legal. Sadly, my state does that, but at least we're not killing people for their own things they can't control. Like, sure, maybe we used to lynch people. Sure, maybe we used to do this stuff. But these countries are far worse off than we are in the US. These countries are basically making people suffer for rights. These countries are much farther behind the US in terms of basic human rights. So I think all of you who are complaining should go move to one of these countries. Go see how accepted you are there. It'll actually shut you up because you're not allowed the internet. And all of you who are on the travel ban, who want to come to this country and won't complain about Trump, I say, honey, break the travel ban, come here. We need to re-elect him. I'm not saying this is a huge Trump ad or whatever, but what I'm saying is these Democrats are complaining. They are trying to defund our police force. They are trying to defund the very sole thing we need to survive as human beings. But basically, come here. Come here. Come to the US, because we need you here. You're valued here. You're valued in this country. I'm sorry, your home countries are treating you like shit right now. This video was to say that the US may be in a shitty place right now. We may not be able to overcome this whole thing that there are two sides where racism is inherently good, apparently, according to the Republicans. We don't think that. We just don't like your protesting. It's not peaceful. Where there's the other side where they think racism is inherently bad, which of course it is. Also, Donald Trump is a white supremacist. Like, my point is, we may be having this turf war between our two political parties right now. But nothing will ever compare to what these countries are doing. Nothing. So you can complain about the US all you want. At least Trump isn't taking away your basic human rights.